Hey everyone, in this video I want to show you how to build those meshes for those lines that goes into this middle point. So let me enable the full particle system. It's a cast spell that I will be creating from scratch on Patreon this month, but in this video I just want to show you how to create this system for those meshes. So let me bring the mesh on screen now. As you can see, it's something like this, and with couple parameters which I will show you in Houdini in a second, you'll be able to get different shapes, and everything else is automated. So the vertex color is automated and the UVs for it as well. Okay, the vertex color is there basically to create like a very smooth transition of those lines, so there is no visible cut-off area. It's just a very smooth transparency transition from where they start and basically where they go into. Okay, so if I can just show you again, let me isolate it. So as you can see, the start of those, it's a very smooth, and end as well. It's a very smooth transition. That's why I use the vertex color for. Okay. Right, so let's jump into Houdini now and I can show you how this system works. Okay, so this is what I've got in Houdini, and we're gonna create this from scratch. I'm gonna create a new GeoNode and we're just gonna start from very beginning, but for now I just want to show you how it works. We just got simple line. I resample the line. Obviously I can increase the number of segments, and as you can see I already got a different shape, but I'm gonna stick with 3 for now, and later on I apply the gradient and the point jitter actually creates the variation, and this is what we'll be using for generating different shapes. As you can see, the current issue I've got is that it's only in one direction. However, if you want different direction, you can just increase one of those values and you're gonna get different shapes in a few directions as well. Obviously not every single seed is actually gonna work, but as you can see, you can tweak those parameters and get something that you actually need in your project. Okay, as you can see, also I'm kind of pinning this here in the middle, so we always start from this location and go outwards. Same with the size of it as well, so it kind of shrinks towards this middle point here. And just later on I kind of have like a different direction because I want to create like a cross section, because sometimes the single plane doesn't work, so it's nice to have a variation. Obviously if you want just a single plane, it's fine, you can just export this. However, I like to have a cross section sometimes, as I think it kind of works better. Obviously it depends on what kind of project you're working on and what's the camera angle and all those kind of stuff, but I find that actually cross section works a little bit better in my case. Okay, so we got automatic UVs as well here, and we're just gonna go through and create this system from scratch. So you can have a HIP file and you can just have those kind of systems, so you can go and change couple parameters and you can get different results. It's just easy for testing stuff, and it's just handy to have those kind of systems as a HIP file in Houdini for later usage. All right, so let's just jump in and let's create a new GeoNode. Now I'm just gonna go back, disable this one, and I'm gonna press tab, Geo, and I'm gonna create a new GeoNode where we're actually gonna start from scratch. I'm gonna call it Swirl Tutorial Mesh. In here, I'm just gonna create line. Next will be resample, mainly because it's gonna add more points to our line, and I need some points in between. However, I think this is a little bit too much. And obviously later on I can just go back here and tweak the number, but right now I'm just going to disable this option and enable maximum segments. I'm going to set it to 3 or 4. I'm going to start with 3. And also I'm just going to change this into subdivision curves. Okay, next thing, I just want to add some color to it, which we're going to use later on for the vertex color. So I'm going to use color gradient. Okay, I'm going to change this one to black. I'm going to add additional point here in the middle and change it to white. If I'm going to actually go into this node now, you can see we're kind of getting this gradient, which is what I want. And as a next step, I want to pin this curve onto the floor. So when I'll be making some adjustments, those points will be altered, but this one will be actually pinned into this location. So to do this, I'm going to create group. I'm going to disable this and enable bounding box. I'm going to lower it into here, or even lower, maybe even 0.1. And I'm going to change the group type to points. So as you can see, this point is now selected. If you can't see that, just enable maybe this here, and you should be able to see the points. I'm gonna call this group bottom underscore point. Okay, and next thing is actually I want to alter those points. So I'm just gonna use point jitter. As you can see, it kind of alters all of those points, and this is not what I want. So I'm just gonna select a group here, this one, but now it kind of only alters our first point. So I'm just gonna put this at the start. And as you can see, all of those points are now altered, but not this one. Okay. I'm gonna zero the axis because I wanna pick axis that I actually want to work with this. So I'm just gonna set the first axis to 1, and others I'm just gonna leave for now at 0. I think scale might be a little bit too much, so tweak the scale a little bit. And the next thing, I actually wanna smooth this. So I'm gonna use smooth. So we're getting a little bit better transition, and I'm gonna use a resample as our next node. But in here, first thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna treat the polygon as a subdivision curve. So as you can see, we're getting like a very nice smooth curve now. And I'm gonna enable maximum segments as well. You can change this later on, but I'm just gonna keep it at 10 for now. And now let's just create our geometry. So I'm gonna use curve. Let me do it again. Curve sweep. Lapse curve sweep node. Let's see what it does. That's great, but I actually want to use as a mesh type, I want to use the line, which we just made. We've got this. I'm gonna create the ramp here, but I don't want to go to 0. I actually want to go to something like maybe 0.1. Subdivisions obviously is way too much, so maybe I'm just gonna have 1. And scale, it's something that you can tweak later on. We're having issue with this, so I think if we just gonna tweak those values, it works a lot better for me. Okay, so try to zero all those values and just try them one by one, changing the value to 1. Okay. Now the cool thing about this sweep is actually you can set the interpolation to Bezier, for example. So you can have a really cool transition. So if you want to add another one here, you can see this is like a nice curve rather than straight line. It's not something I used in this example. However, it's an option, so feel free to experiment with it. Okay, so the next thing would be to create like a really nice UVs and automatic UVs for this part. So let me see how the UVs looks like right now. So go to perspective, set view, UV viewport. And as you can see, they're kind of going a little bit over the UV island. Okay, so what you could do, you could probably use UV layout, and that could work. What I like to do is actually use UV transform. And what I found is that you can actually create like a really quick expression here. And basically do this. So it's gonna scale this on the x-axis. I'm just gonna copy paste this into here, into y, and I'm gonna change x to y at the end. As you can see, it kind of scales this and fits this into this UV island. Okay. So let me go back to perspective now, and as you can see, we're kind of getting this nice one plane for our cast swirl mesh. So what you could do now, you can just copy this, paste here, and merge those together now. And if you do that, you can go to sweep and change the app vector to something else. And this is how you get the cross section of it, with the vertex color already applied to it. It might be a good idea to actually select this node, and let's say maybe everything on our left side is our master node. So you can select this, right click, copy parameter, and right click and paste relative reference here. And now if you go into this node and you increase your divisions, you can see it changes on the both of those cross sections. Same with the uniform scale. So you can copy parameter and paste it here as a relative reference. And now if you go to the one on the left, you can just increase one parameter and it changes for both. Okay. And the last thing what I like to do is just use transform. And for this transform, I'm just gonna increase the uniform scale. I think it's 100 is recommended if you're exporting this into game engine. I like to go somewhere in between, like 50. So it's not too big and it's not too small. And if I wanna increase its size, I usually do that in Unreal Engine using Niagara. Okay, so this is our this is our swirl mesh. So we got automatic UVs as well for both of those planes now. And if you don't like, if you just want to have one, just disable that one and it works. So now let's get to how we can modify it. So first thing what we can do, we can usually go to the point jitter and we can change the seed. And you will get a different mesh basically. What you could do as well, you can just right middle mouse button click here and you can adjust the axis if that's what you want. So it will go into different directions basically. Okay, so that's the point jitter. And obviously if you want mesh to be a little bit more complicated, you can go to the first resample and you can change its value to, I'd advise you to stick with the low values between maybe 3 and 6, because we are getting issues here, but usually those could be solved by either scaling this down a little bit, so going into our curve. As you can see, if we're gonna scale it down, you kind of get rid of it, but it makes this a lot more thinner. Okay, so I'm just gonna increase its size to something like this. Change the axis a little bit, go to resample, and I usually go with maybe 4 or 3, just to get this really nice smooth mesh that I can pan the texture later on to create those trails or swirls, however you want to call it. I think the vertex color option is it's very nice as well, because you're getting like a really nice soft transition of that texture. And obviously in here, if you want this to be, if you need more geometry and you want this to be a lot more smooth, you can just apply segments here, and you got like a lot more smoother line here for those swirls. Okay. Right, so this is our system. I'm just gonna add here Unreal Engine export. So I know it's only applying scale here. And maybe another thing, I want to show you how I created this sphere. Okay. Right, so let me show you how I generated that mesh core sphere. Okay. So that's the sphere with some erosion and world position offset as well at the very beginning. Okay, so let me just go back to Houdini. I'm gonna use a sphere, lab sphere generator node, and I'm just gonna add UVs to it. Actually, I'm gonna use UV project. So let me get that sphere here. And for the UV project, it's just those 2 nodes, to be honest, and the export as well. So if I want to export the swirls, I'm just gonna do this. If I want to export the sphere, I'm gonna do this, and I'm just gonna get the increase the size version of it. Okay, but let's focus on the UV project. So we go to UVs. In order to get like a really nice erosion and really cool vertex position offset, you kind of want to keep this as a one island, or yeah, the less UV pieces, the better. So I'm just gonna change this to polar. As you can see, that already did the job. Okay, so if you're getting different results, experiment with the planes here method. But to be honest, it should work out of the box. And now whenever I'm going to apply the vertex position offset to it or erosion, it's just gonna create those 2 functionalities easily, and it's just gonna look, I think, correctly in the engine. So to get the best results, I just keeping this as a 1 UV island, maximum 2, and yeah, trying to spread this across the whole UV island. Okay, and now just gonna use this as an export to Unreal Engine. Okay, so that's it for this setup. I hope you find it useful, and I actually hope you can create something better than I did here. Those are just the basics, but I find them very helpful, and it's something that I wish I knew at the very beginning of my career, because I used to build those swirl meshes by hand in 3ds Max or different softwares like Maya. By having this done this way, it's just very easy to iterate, and it's something that you can basically save as a HIP file and adjust a couple settings later on if you want a different results or basically variation of those swirls. Okay. All right, thanks so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this one. Thanks.